This thumbnail is being used to show you that Wealth Transfer Alliance, a nationwide technology company, is providing information for you, and of course you. All the information on the screen, you see this is the United States Congress, and Wealth Transfer Alliance is a nationwide company. Everyone, there's no one with an exception that does not qualify for the services that are provided by Wealth Transfer Alliance. On the screen, we are asking each of the members of the body you see seated to take advantage of this opportunity because everyone qualified. That is, this presentation is coming. Excuse me, I'm going to be doing that because I am at the age of getting the things in my throat when I do this and I drink water. But this information is being provided for everyone because everyone qualified. This is for those persons who are going to die and the unborn people. For that's going to come behind those persons that are going to die. There's no exception. Everyone qualified, and what this is about, you can see on the screen that we're asking each of the United States Congressperson to consider the citizens in their districts for opening up a revocable living trust. The congressmen themselves need a revocable living trust, and I'm going to show you that in a few minutes because I'm going to show you some homes that does not have the trust and they need the trust in their homes. I was talking to one of the ladies in my church, and she got her trust a few years ago. This is a revocable living trust offer for everyone. Now, WTA VIP is the founder of Wealth Transfer Alliance, and he's giving detailed information about you and what you need to do in order to take advantage of it. So I have his information plus 4 other websites on this thumbnail. You see WTA enrollment form.com. That's where you enroll in the WTA. Now I'm going to give you some information at the bottom. It's going to show you that every time you take advantage of this opportunity, and you only need to do it once, it is a tax deductible offer. And I'm going to explain that to you in a minute when I introduce myself to you. The 4 websites that you see, in addition to WTAVIP.com, is WTA enrollment form.com. That's going to cost you $495 to open up your Wealth Transfer Alliance technology software company. And you're going to become a company. You don't have to, but it is a tax deductible process for you to get the software because Wealth Transfer Alliance Technology Company is they disperse software for you to set up your revocable living trust. The revocable living trust cost, as well as the cost for you to establish your business at WTAenrollmentform.com, is a tax deduction. You cannot lose in this process. As a matter of fact, the only way that I see you can lose is that if you don't take advantage of it, and if you sit on your hands, you cannot eat because your hands will be under your dexterity, and you have to remove your dexterity in order to take the food in your hands and put it in your mouth. At the bottom, you see my income tax video. That's the video showing businesses how to get a tax advantage through them with themselves and also increase their employees' take-home pay. On the other side, you see Can You CICU3. That's another product for a business. So your business are going to have products. Your business is going to have software. And every time you add a product to your business, every time you add a software to your business and running your business, you're taking a tax write-off. And I'm going to introduce myself to you to let you see why I keep saying that over and over again, because it's so true. Now look, you see these beautiful homes? Get off of probate.net, get off of probate.com. My phone number is there. Tax deductible estate planning software. These homes did not have an estate plan set up on them. Look, these homes are in excess of $1 million. They didn't have an estate plan set up. They need an estate plan for to less than $2,100. they're going to have an estate plan set up on their home and take a tax write-off on it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. You see my picture up there. I'm going to show you myself in a minute to give you some background on myself. All we're talking about now for you and anyone you know, there's no one that does not qualify for this, because there are two ways you qualify. You're going to die and you're going to live into your own estate. So if you don't take the advantage of the opportunity that we are presenting to you, then your estate would go into probate. And probate would hold your estate 10, 20, 30 years, and there's nothing that you can do about it. The probate court has an estimate of taking in $66 billion between the 2025 and 2034. 66 billion of your dollars are going to go into the probate court. Now you see these 4 homes here that did not have an estate plan set up, and they went to probate. The probate is going to get the proceeds of each home, because each home at the value today, 5 years are going to be much higher value. 10 years will be a much higher value. And 10 to 20% of the value of each one of these 4 estates would go into the probate court. Now, why would you not take advantage of a tax deduction for less than $2,100 to put your estate in a position so that it can't go to probate? I don't understand why that's not understandable. But God said, above all getting, get understanding. And I'm just trying to present to you what you see is real. And the persons that I'm showing to you in this thumbnail is to show you that those persons, many of them live in estates such as this, but they don't have an estate plan set up on their estate. And they're like, I'm going to show you Mr. Warren Burger. He was a Supreme Court judge. Before he passed, he left $1.8 million, went to the probate court. So now I'm going to move on and introduce you now to the founders and CEO of Wealth Transfer Alliance. That's these 2 gentlemen here. The one on the left is Professor Brian E. Riley. 22 years in the military, a nurse for 22 years. He put in his credentials to help this country do what it needed to do to be safe as it is. And now he's working with his own youth to show you how he's still giving to this country. Mr. Derek Johnson, he's a 20-plus year economist, and he's also a coach. He had 2 students to win gold medals at the last Olympics that we had. So he's well qualified to coach. He's well qualified to do what he's going to explain to you to do in this process of you not having to pay the probate court thousands and thousands and millions of dollars that they are projecting from you, because they know your laziness is not going to, you're not going to go and get a revocable living trust on your estate. So they're sitting there projecting $66 billion are going to come to them because of your not having an understanding as to why you should get a revocable living trust. Okay. WTA VIP, getoffprobate.net, getoffprobate.com. Watch my live video, my income tax video, and WTA enrollment form.com. All these avenues that we're pointing you to show you how to get a revocable living trust that's tax deductible. Okay, that's all we're talking about. Now I'm going to show you this. This is myself. My name is David Richardson. I graduated from the University of Arkansas in 1967. I started my own tax service in 1968. You can see that between now, born in 1944, and I'm expected, from what I've asked God for 2044. Don't know if He's going to give it to me, but the asking it shall be given. My plan A is God. There's only one God. He only lives in one place. He lives in me and lives in you. There's only one God. He only lives in one place. He's my plan A. Money is my plan B, but I have several other different kinds of plan that I work. You can see all the things that I've accomplished in the years that I have accomplished since graduating from the University of Arkansas. It's all in the red. And the primary ones is the book of the seven spirits of God. There are seven spirits inside you. They're all in the book. They're all in the book. I'm going to move on. That's enough about myself. I put me, myself, and I here to show you that the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit are only one. And they all live inside of you. He breathed into your breath. He breathed into your nostrils the breath of life, and you became a living soul. He put himself in you. There's only one God. He only lives one place. And if you're disobedient to him, he will chastise you and keep a record of your disobedience. And then someday you would have to pay that price. Now look, this is Coach Johnson. And again, I'm using enrollmentform.com to show you how to enroll. It costs you $495 to enroll into Wealth Transfer Alliance. And that's not that much, which is a tax write-off when you do enroll. When you do enroll, you're going to be writing off $495 because you will be establishing a business. And your business startup is tax deductible. To get the software that you need in order to set up your revocable living trust and to help your family, it's going to cost you $1,995. Those two figures, $2,495, is a whole lot less than $2,100. And I can tell you that it's a tax write-off. I gave you my credentials to show you I've been in prepared income tax and in an income tax business since 1968. To me, that's 57 years. I can tell you some things that'll help you with regards to your tax. Getting off of probate is one of those things, because once you get off of probate or not go on probate, you're going to have an opportunity not to have to pay the money that you would pay if you don't do it. So it's just that easy. Exactly when are you going to die? That's a question that I'm asking you. If you knew, you don't know the answer when you're going to die. But when you do, you don't have a revocable living trust, then your estate would go to probate. See? And if you don't do it, then the probate court would then take your estate and put it into their hand. And there's nothing you can do about it. So make sure, for whatever you do with the information that I'm giving you, make sure you go to getoffprobate.com and getoffprobate.net. They're going to give you the step-by-step information to how to set up your revocable living trust. Each one is going to give you something that Wealth Transfer Alliance has made available for you to have to understand what you're doing. Now look, this is my estate. This is my estate. That's why I put my picture here to show you. You see what I paid for the estate in 2003. You see what Zillow appraised the value is 2 months ago. You see the difference between what I paid and what the appraised value is. You see what my estate would have. That's just this fixed asset here. What about the other fixed assets that I have and all the other assets that I have in my revocable living trust? And I want my next door neighbor to have the same thing, because he's telling me that I have to love my neighbor as I do myself. So it wouldn't behold me to have it myself and not tell my neighbor about the reward of having it. So both of us are being blessed. You're the same way. That's why I used the thumbnail that I did to show you that some of the highest elite people in this country need the same thing you have. They have to have a revocable living trust. If not, then when they expire, their trust would go to probate, like Warren Burger, James Brown, Michael Jackson, and a whole lot of other people. Miss Hamlin, $5 billion going into probate court. So when exactly you're going to die, since you don't know, why not consider setting up your own revocable living trust? You don't know when it's going to happen, but when it does happen, you want all of your loved ones that you're leaving behind to have your legacy in your trust. So all I'm doing now is being repetitious to show you what you are not doing and what you should do. It's not something that's not hard to understand. Here, look at these properties here. Tax deductible estate planning software would enable each one of these persons here to put their estate into a revocable living trust. The information on how to do that is on here also. So I don't know who's going to get this, but when you get it, make sure you share it. If you don't do nothing, then give it to your neighbor, give it to somebody else. Email at least 10 people the information. This is a video. And once you get it, don't sit on it. If you already have your trust, God bless you. If you don't have a trust and you're going to get one, God bless you. But then bless someone else. It's more blessed to give than it is to receive. So you want to share this information with everyone you know, especially your loved one. Because if you got brothers, sisters, aunts, and nieces and nephews, they also, if they're going to be in your trust, it's okay, but they too need their own trust. They set up their trust and you be in their trust, they in your trust. It's a win-win for you. Any unborn children coming, they go in the trust. It's for two people, those that are going to die and those that are yet unborn. That's what we're talking about. Now much, moving on, repetition. This is my state again. So see what's in my state? You see how many bedrooms there are, living rooms, dining rooms, bathrooms, full basement, 2-car garage, powder room, and a complete deck, and space behind for another house. This is a huge lot. The lot is my total estate. And in my state, I can put in my revocable living trust my entire state, the cars, boats, planes, whatever it is I want to go into my trust. I put it in a title. Title, the automobiles are title. My home is title. My boat's title. Plane title. All those things have titles. But look at all the other assets that I have. Money in the bank, retirement plans, 401ks, a whole lot of information that you don't see that are assets that goes into my revocable living trust. And the software enables me to do that. And my software explains to you, getoffofprobate.net, getoffofprobate.com, explain to you how to do the same thing that I'm doing. All you got to do is spend the time to learn how to do it. This is Mr. Brian Riley on the right side top, WTA VIP. Watch him. He's just giving you a step-by-step video of things that you need to know. Do you have a monthly income of, say, $100,000 right now? You don't? Okay. Well, why not listen to what this gentleman is saying to show you how to get a monthly income of $100,000? And now your estate is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So now you're adding to your estate. As you live, you're adding to your estate. And the bigger your estate, the better. Now, if it doesn't go to you or your loved ones, then your estate goes into its own way of probate. And you can't get it out of probate because you will have expired. Your people can't get it out because the probate is not going to accept everything they say. The hearsay doesn't work with the probate court. You'd have to go to another court to get the probate court to accept what another court is telling you to do. And that takes time. And time is money. Your estate goes up in value. And then it's sold at a real estate sale. And you've already paid tax on it. All the years that you had it, and when someone else gets it, they still got to pay tax on it. And then they pay those tax for, say, 20, 30 years on their real estate property, on all the other things that they got taxable. They pay the tax, and then they expire, and they don't have a revocable living trust. And now the state sale, the government collects additional tax and a percentage of the value of the estate. So why are you sitting on your hands? Get up and do something, because it's not going to break you. It's because it's tax deductible. Take the money out of your right pocket, put it into your left pocket. While it's in your left pocket, they're going to refund it, and it comes right back in your pocket. It never leaves your pocket. Listen to what Professor Riley is telling you. Now look, this is how your estate, your business look. This is $495 business. This is how it looks. Okay, this is your dashboard for your business. and it's America's best comprehensive online estate plan. It is America's best. It's over 30 years old. It was founded by attorneys at Harvard University, classmates of Barack Obama when it started. And all you got to do to get an understanding, go up to click on Home, click on Plan Details, click on the frequent asked questions, and the questions answers are in a video about us, the pricing, and that's giving you information about this drafted by expert estate planning attorneys to show you what they've done and how they are using it to help you. Okay, Wealth Transfer Alliance Advocate is such am I. This is my sign-in dashboard. And you can see up there, the little button says sign in. When I go to sign in, I go into my estate planning, into my software. I sign into my software. And it tells me step by step what I can do and add, change things. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Or if I want to buy, I can't buy because I've already bought. But if you're doing it for the first time and you get your dashboard, you have to buy. And when you buy, now your business is set up. And you have a tax write-off for your startup business, $495. You have a tax write-off for your $19.95. And then it costs you $29.95 a year to maintain the software, which is also, yes, tax deductible. So the only way you can lose at this is you sit on your hands. Wealth Transfer Alliance Technology Estate Planning Software. It's avoidance of federal and state probate theft system, because it is a steal for them to take it from you. Listen, just go to WTAVIP.com. It's the company founder explaining the product, the people, the product, the process, and the pay of Wealth Transfer Alliance technology. Step by step. Step one needs to understand the wealth transfer planning software and the uses of that software. WTA enrollment form is where you enroll. GetOffProbate.com is where you get understanding. Okay? That's all you got to do. Just get an understanding. Get an understanding. I knew there was a comment there, excuse me. Deductible estate planning software. Notice here, all these are fixed assets. All these are titled assets with the exception of the money. I put the money here to show you that your money in the bank is also an asset. And your money in the bank can go into your revocable living trust. All of your titled assets, your plane, goes into your revocable living trust. Your boat, your SUV, everything goes into your revocable living trust. All right, now I'm going to keep on because you can stop this video. It's very repetitive what I'm doing over and over again. Title automobile, it goes into your revocable living trust. You see, there's nothing outside of your trust that you can't have in your trust. All right, all I'm showing you, like, you can see the repetitiveness because some of them are the same picture. I'm just showing it over and over and over again until you get to understand it. Now, here's Professor Riley's instructions to you how you make this money. Okay, this is for self-employed individual. You can be a self-employed individual and earn some serious monthly income from Wealth Transfer Alliance. They are very diversified in their products. What I'm showing you is the estate planning product. Okay, that's my specialty because I'm a tax accountant since 1968. And I know some things about a business and how you run a business that you write off on your tax. We haven't touched the surface. I'm only giving you two: the software and the price of starting a business. That's only two. You ought to have a pen and a piece of paper so I can show you how many other advantages it is for you to earn a handsome income and really not have to pay tax on it because of the expenses that you can incur from operating your business, and have proof of it, because if you have a bank, then you have just a witness that you need. He has a record of all the money you put in, and he has a record of all the money you take out. The money you take out is if it's for business, you're gonna write it off on your income tax, and he can verify everything that you say, everything you put in, and everything you take out. Again, I'm being repetitive. You see how repetitive I am to show you what you need to do? Yes, we need to set up a revocable living trust and a tax deduction. Yes, we need to set up a revocable living trust and a tax deduction. That's all we're talking about you doing. And that's why I put it here over and over and over again so you can get an idea of what we're talking about. You setting up a revocable living trust, that's a tax deduction. That's why I put it that way. Here is the self-employed information. Now, to be self-employed earner of the income that Professor Riley is explaining to you, you follow the information on the left. That's to set up and get started. And you follow all the information on the left. And the most important thing you want to give is your correct email address. Your age is not important. Your state is important, what state you live in. Your name is important, and your email address. Now, any information that you provide, if it's incorrect, no one is going to call you, because once you give them the information, then they'll check you out. And if you fan out to be legitimate, then your income will start. And you see what your monthly income can be as a business builder, self-employed individual. And you can be employed and be self-employed at the same time. If you're employed or if you're self-employed and you join a Wealth Transfer Alliance, you become self-employed again, because you're running a business and doing business with Wealth Transfer Alliance as a business. So stop this data, study it. Now make sure you go to WTAbenefits.com. WTAbenefits.com. You can do it before or after you enroll. WTA enrollment form is where you're going to enroll. But after you enroll or before you enroll, visit WTA Benefits so you can see how this system pay you daily. Daily. But at the end of the month, your pay goes in. They pay 2 times a month. And at the end of the month, you got your bank statement. It shows the income that went into the bank. You also, on that same bank statement, show the money that you took out to run your business. And you're going to keep a record of all that. So at the end of the year, at tax time, you have an idea how much money you got to pay on the tax that you've earned, or whether you're going to get not have to pay at all because of you running the business. Now I'm concluding this now. I keep showing it again. I'm going to show you again. This is my state. I keep showing it because I want you to get an idea of the information that's being provided. If I lived in from the time I was born to the time I expected, I'm 100 years old. But God in chapter 6 of the book of Genesis has promised us all 120 years. All we got to do is live into his promise. There's only one God, and he only lives one place. That's in you and I. So his promise is his promise. I'm not going to go there. GetOffProbate.net on my driveway, GetOffProbate.com on the driveway. The best time to start your living revocable trust is at the current age. If you're 25 and 25 and 30, do it now. And then by the time you get to my age, or 65, 70 years old, look how many assets you will have added to your estate that's now avoiding probate. You see what I'm talking about? Your children, your children's children, all that's now in your estate. And your neighbors are satisfied because you're going to tell them the more about it. And every time you tell a neighbor, you get a monetary value from Wealth Transfer Alliance. Tell 10 neighbors and multiply that time what you get, what Professor Riley is telling you. He's telling you how much you're going to get for each person. So you do the math when you get to what he's telling you. That's all we're talking about. I put my picture on my 2-car garage to show you that this is my estate. Okay, now look, these are different kinds of assets. You see, this information here is taken from Wyoming LLC attorneys. This is not me. You can see my quotations around it. This is everything coming from the attorneys, with the exception of GetOffProbate.com and GetOffProbate.net. Study this. Now, what I did add here are the assets at the bottom, different kinds of assets. And this is just a few. If I go and list all the assets that you can put here, it would take up this entire page. and it wouldn't be understandable, is the information that you see on the page. This is just to give you understanding as to what you're going to do with your irrevocable living trust. Okay, I got two more things to show you and we're done. These are properties that I took from Zillow. Okay, and neither one of these properties have a revocable living trust. It's just information that they didn't have it. And it's just amazing that we don't do that. But the $24.90 that it's going to cost you to do this, $4.95 plus the $19.95, that's what you're going to use as a tax write-off when you first set it up. $24.90. That's your tax deduction for running your business. That's your business expenses plus all the other expenses. You may have to travel outside of the country to someone that's in the military in another country. You never know. And your trip there is tax deductible because you're conducting business in that country for what you have here in the United States for the person that's also have something in the United States that's working outside of the United States. I hope you can hear what I'm saying, because all this is going to give you a better understanding, and you have your own revocable living trust. $4.95 is going to start your business building process, and the $19.95 is going to buy the software, and you're going to write both of those things off on your income tax. Now look, I didn't get through that yet, but this is WTAVIP.com. This is Professor Riley. I keep doing it to be repetitious to show you all you need to do. WTA enrollment form is going where you go and enroll, $495, and you don't have to spend the $19.95 right away. But if you don't have the link for $14.95, they have over 35 different kinds of lending. I'm talking about dirt cheap interest rates where you can finance your software, write it off on your income tax, and before it's time to pay the bills on the startup, you got your refund back, because I'm recommending you start when you first, between January and March, you do your income tax. Don't wait to April and October. Go to January and March, and you'll get your refund back real quick. Put it right back in the bank where you took it from, or pay the company off where you financed it. There's over 35 different ways you can finance it. There's no reason for you not to have it, unless you're going to make an excuse not to do it. Now, this is the last thing I'm going to show you, and this is to show you how we started off with the thumbnail of the United States Congress, showing them they need a revocable living trust. These are county executives in the state of Maryland in Prince George's County. These persons, just like the thumbnail that I showed you, they too need a revocable living trust. There's no exception whether you work above in the United States government or the state government or the county government. Whosoever you are, pastor, whosoever you are, Mr. Church member, you need this. And your church need it for different ways that you can do things. You can finance the public through this process. But you got to think outside the box. Go to myincometextvideo.com and just listen to that. That's showing you how to go to a company and show a company how to save money. And when you go to the company, you're going to be paid by the wealth transfer allowance for going to that company to show that company how to do it. And these persons here, they're overseeing small businesses in their county. The congressman has small businesses in his or her district. And those small businesses can put money in both pockets. You and the congressman, you and the councilman. But you gotta understand it. And it's not thinking only take my vote, that my vote is gonna give you freedom. All my vote is gonna give you is your little income that you make from my vote. But if you just think outside the box, both of us could be very well off by just working together instead of working against each other. All right, I'm going to conclude this. I've spent up too much time, and I want to thank you for letting me take up the time that I've used, and I'm almost at 35 minutes. I thank you in Jesus' name for letting me do that. And I want you to know I love you, and especially you, because God lives in both of us. Bye-bye.